Righto, time to go. It's not flush, we pushed on too far and now the pub's shut. It's 10 past 10. I reckon you're a bigger bogan. We did have one mirror when we left. It's about at this point you really question your life choices. I'm doing this for fun, so how bad can things be? Righto.
It's most definitely going to catch on fire. Take two.
No.
Are you excited?
Nah, you can't hide that shit. Pretty bad. Well, after all the planning and organising, Christmas Day is gone like that. So we're back in the shed. We've had a bit of a clean up in here and Megan has absolutely nailed me for a present. She said she wasn't getting me much and she nailed it really. So the day we saw Lance, the end of the 4-month trip, she's got that photo blown up. It's not that it's, it just means so much more because that was the end of the trip as well. So it's a cracking photo. She also got me a new welding mask. She's been obviously following along with my videos of how bad my welding is too. That will really help because the welding mask with that scratch is something I should have bought a long time ago. So yeah, nailed me with the present. So yeah, very happy with that. So thanks darling for the thought and I owe you a really good present in the future. I did get her something but it wasn't that good. So as you can see, we got heaps more parts, shocks, leaves. The door cards also turned up from eBay. Obviously we're going to put that off for a while now, doing anything with the inside. So we are into the original plan, ripping the housing out and getting the back of the chassis all painted up, rear housing fixed up, and you know, that's sort of the back half of the car done. Yes, I'm doing the easy half first, that's for sure, but going along with that, all these parts I've been buying have come from all 4x4 spares. If you don't know who those guys are, I'll put a link in the comments below. Any 4x4 spares you need, good chance they'll have it. Awesome online store, it's all catalogued there, easy to use and easy to deal with. I've been talking to these guys heaps, organising parts, and it got me thinking, well, these are the kind of people I want to work with moving forward. So I approached them, told them what I was doing, and they jumped at the chance to be part of the Lance project. So I'm stoked. All 4x4 spares are going to be proud sponsors of STS moving forward and the Lance project. There's going to be plenty more parts to go into Lance and it just allows me to do a few more things properly. Gives me a bit more scope, and the more parts I can replace, the more reliable the old boy's going to be. So anyway, we're going to dig into this. Let's start taking the tail shaft off, get those springs out and strip it right back. I can't wait to see that chassis painted up. It'll really look like it's starting to move somewhere then. First things first, before I take anything off, obviously I have to take the tail shaft off. Oh wow, not tight at all. Oh my god, what the... That one's really loose, that one's really loose, that one's missing, and that one's the wrong size. She's still showing up plenty of gremlins. So all the bolts have vanished inside the handbrake drum, which should have been captive. That shouldn't really happen. Just to add to or create another problem. Yeah. So we've got some vice clamps on here, just enough to hold the line so I can spin the fitting on the line. Everything is seized, everything you touch is seized. So it was a real battle to get the brake line clip off. Something I do know it's worth having the proper spanners for the job here. Obviously you can see the difference to what a normal spanner looks like. And it wraps right around the fitting to stop stripping the nut. Rightio, brake line's out. We'll see if we can't get the sway bar off now and out of the road. Everything's a little bit harder than what it should be. It's just all seized, and yeah, this is always going to be the case, especially on the bottom end of the vehicle. Anything's closer to the ground is going to be covered in dirt and corroded, more so than anything higher up. Righto, if all else fails, this is the best spanner in the shed. That'll definitely get the bolt undone. Righto, it's the last nut left on the U-bolts here, so I don't think there's any energy left stored in these things. It's done a bit of creaking and groaning and it's all feeling pretty free now. Yeah, these come undone pretty well. I don't think they're as old as everything else, that's for damn sure. The springs and U-bolts have been replaced at some stage, no doubt. Righto, last U-bolt, the very last bolt, really put up a fight. Sweating real hard. It's the hottest day we've had for a long time, and it's bloody hot in the shed. Aircon for the shed? I don't think I can get that past the missus. Insert time lapse now for undoing the leaf springs, pulling them out, and then it'll be a massive transformation. Clean the shed up, I've got a friggin' mess underneath now, and then we'll get her up on the bench. I'll start pulling that diff housing out. I'll be really interested to see if there's any oil in the diff, because I haven't even checked the oil since I bought it. We really have only done a couple of laps around the backyard. So we're still yet to find a few surprises, no doubt. I won't throw any nuts and bolts away yet. I'll go through that and make sure there's a few things I don't need, including my long nose pliers that I swept up in a bit of a haste. So we'll drop the plug out of the bottom of the diff and see if there's actually any oil in it. There's a chance that there won't be, and then if there isn't, there's probably a good chance the diff's no good. So let's hope there's oil in the diff. Let's hope these plugs actually come undone. Ooh, sounds good. Now just pray there's oil. It doesn't look very nice. Oh my god, that's putrid. Look at that. It's a big chunk of steel. What
you guys doing?
Trying to fix lamps. What are you doing? Okay, so there's a bit, it's looking good. The oil looks horrible, but it actually still feels like oil, so it would have been doing something.
Really yuck.
Which is, that's a positive thing, what we see there, really. It looks horrible, but that's more money I don't spend on lamps, darling.
It looks like...
What does it look like? Chocolate milk, doesn't it?
No.
Do you want to taste it?
No, that is gross.
It is gross, it is gross. The idea is just to shock the cone washer out, which I think it did. See how it's just ever so slightly come out there now, so that should be free. We'll go around and do the lot, and then we should be able to pull them out. And then if the axle's still too tight to come out, we'll clean these holes here. There's one there, they're actually threaded, and you can run a 8mm bolt in against the housing to pull the axle out. But no doubt all these cone washers will come out, except for the very last one I do. Ooh, did you see that? Gotta love it when something works. Right, so the idea is you just want to grab hold of it and not close it up onto the actual stud. So it did move, it's moving, but like everything else, it's a bit seized on. Here we go. On a newer vehicle, they'll just fall out once you punch them. Okay, so that's all of them. And we're in luck. That is very lucky. Righto, so this side, the axle didn't just fall out like the other side, which is always the way. You usually get one to do it, one not to do it. So these are just 8mm bolts. You can get special bolts with like a semi-pointed end. So the idea is the end of the bolt is smaller than the thread of the bolt in diameter. So when you run this through, if it is super tight, you don't knurl the end of the bolt over, and then it's hard to get back out. I don't have any, so we're gonna just don't want to go too hard. If you've got to go too hard, then stop. Otherwise you'll get the end of the bolt knurled over and it won't come out. Alright, let's see if we can't pull that out. If you're just doing wheel bearings, you've got to be careful pulling them in and out. You do have an axle seal in there you don't want to destroy, because sometimes if you're just doing wheel bearing service, the axle seal can stay, especially if you're doing them at 20,000 k-nibbles. Obviously everything will be being replaced at the moment, so it doesn't matter so much. I think I've got it. All the teeth are there, it looks sweet. But I will get a professional to have a really good look at this, put a dial gauge on it. If it is healthy, I think it's Harrop E-locker time. We'll make this thing more capable as well as reliable and put it back together with a locker in it. Righto, so it's another day. We're going to put the diff housing aside for the moment, get into what we spoke about. Originally, start cleaning up that chassis and getting some paint on it, and getting it look a bit nicer than what it does. Well, so we're just plating up a few little cracks and chunks out of the chassis. So the tow bar that come off this was, if you had been watching in the previous episodes, looked like it had been towing around farm implements. It was definitely not a factory tow bar, and so it's cracked a section out of the chassis on that side, and it was just a crack over this side, and I've cut it out square just so I can get it to come back together nicely. So we'll weld those up. I will wire wheel my welds off because I think they have improved, because my beautiful wife bought me a new welding mask for Christmas. What a wife. And we'll plate over the top of them, and that's really the only real damage I could see in the chassis. It is a little rusty, but it's solid. No real issues. We're nearly getting towards paint time, so we'll get these welded up, ground back and plated up. And man, it is muggy and hot and I am filthy. Phew. We'll grind them back nice and flat so we can put a plate across the top, and that'll be stronger than new. So we're not going to weld those gusset plates in. There were bolt holes for the original tow bar mounting position. I'm just going to bolt plates in to where that tow bar, or the factory tow bar, should mount to, rather, until the day I decide to get a tow bar, and those plates will spread that load anyway and we'll do the same job. And obviously I've welded the cracks and welded a plate where that piece of chassis was missing. I've got the compressor running, as you can hear. We'll give the chassis a blowout inside the rails, sweep up underneath it, get rid of any dust, wipe it down with, probably, I've got a bit of old thinners up there. We'll wipe the chassis down with a bit of thinners, let that dry off, and then we'll get into the old rattle can paint job. Let's do it. So I'm just going to use some old paint thinners that I've had laying around for many years. It was an old project we did a long time ago. This will clean the chassis and dry without residue. Righto, she's all wiped down. Products I'm going to use on this, and look, there could be better stuff out there. This is what I am doing, this is what I found, and I'm not going to use the spray gun because this makes too much of a mess in the shed. Aerosol rust converter. This is only a cheaper brand. Converts rust into a protective, inert barrier, flexible primer, seals surface, prepares surface rust to top coating, black finish. Ticks all the boxes for me. I think that'll be fine. And then a top coat of Septone Rust Shield, underbody, vehicle rust proofing, and superior anti-corrosion coating. Sounds like an ad, but that's just what I'm using, so I thought I'd tell you. So we'll get in, we'll spray this up, and then we'll sit the leaves under it, so it looks like we're really getting somewhere. It's kind of, yeah, it's super satisfying to see this nice and painted and shiny. Just quickly, guys, at the end of the episode, check out our website, smarttouringsystems.com.au. We have heaps of cool products of our own, plus some Rocky Mounts bike racks and a bit of apparel. We're very proud of our design and our hats, and we keep them as cost effective as possible. Anyway, let's get into some painting. Yes, that is very satisfying. That looks freaking amazing. From here on in, we will start reassembling. I'm going to jump on All 4x4 Spares website. We need some carrier bearings and probably some gaskets for reinstalling the diff center, and I'm hoping a friendly mechanic mate of mine is going to come around and help me set up the Harrop E-locker, which I plan to order also through All 4x4 Spares. It's a really simple, easy to use website. That's how those guys come on board with us. We approach them because of this very reason. Jump on the website, everything's there, add it to cart, and it turns up at your door. Perfect for a project like this. So yeah, it's very exciting. Next episode, we are into the assembly, so make sure you tune in for that one. So don't forget guys, you only live once. Get out there and enjoy it. Go and get yourself a project. See you next time.